When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
Hey, what's going on, guys? MVP here. We're going to talk about the NFL today. I got my friend Darius here as always.
Hey, what's going on, people?
Yep. So what up, MVP Nation? This is what we're going to do today. We got headlines here, a lot of topics to talk about, especially about the anthem protest. We got our top 10 linebackers coming into the 2018 season. We also have a top 100 reaction to the top 100 players, a list that NFL puts out year in and year out, and certain players that we don't like on the list, or certain players that we want to discuss on their rankings on the show. And we're going to go over the NFC East today and our predictions for the NFC East. One of the most headlined divisions in all of football. Right to the headlines, the NFL makes the new anthem rule, man. Pretty much saying that you got to stand for it during the national anthem or be in the locker room. If you do protest, you're going to get fined. A lot of owners already came out and said that they're willing to pay the fines for the players, because that's really kind of, it's not like the owners are signing with the players. It's kind of them pandering to both sides. We're saying like, hey, we'll pay for it, but at the same time, they don't want to lose their players and be like, hey, like, you know, we did kind of vote for this. Even though there wasn't a vote, it was kind of like a show of hands. Like Roger Goodell literally probably walked into the room. Hey, who wants to, do this new rule? People raised their hands, was a majority voting. All right, that's it. That's what we're doing. And then they didn't bother to ask the players, because ultimately they knew what was going to happen. The players would have been like, no way we're doing this.
It definitely, they pissed off a lot of people with this ruling. I know a lot of people were furious about it. Talk shows all talking about this rule, and it's definitely going to cause a lot of drama this upcoming season, no doubt.
No doubt about it. Donald Trump has obviously addressed this, saying if you don't stand for the flag, you shouldn't be in this country to begin with.
That man, he's a character there. That's a character.
And there's also been some players that, involving this, some players are willing to sit out if Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid has until they're signed to a team. Now, my whole stance on this is, personally, there's a reason why I watch NFL Red Zone, because I don't see any of that. Because ultimately, I've come to watch football. That's all I've come to do.
Yep.
And I could honestly care less what these players' political stands are. I can appreciate that they are passionate about certain things. Even though I may not agree with it, I can ultimately respect that. I can respect that they're doing whatever it takes, whether it's getting fined or to voice their opinion on stuff, because that's what me and you are doing right now, and that we're voicing our opinion. And that's, now they may do it at their workplace, and granted, sometimes people don't understand that, and they also think that it's a privilege. Like they don't understand that it's a privilege that they're playing in the NFL. Like that's not a guarantee. That wasn't automatic. Like you deserved it. Like they worked hard throughout their whole football career to get to the spot that they're at. But they feel like it's automatic for them. Like, oh, we automatically should be playing in the NFL. Where else we're going to play? It's like, no, it's a privilege that you're playing at a high level, and that an elite athlete as themselves are even on a team. And then not only that, getting paid millions and millions of dollars to perform this, to entertain all of us. Now,
yeah, and a lot of these guys forget that the NFL is a business, and if you hurt the team's bottom line, like if you're over there kneeling on the sideline and people don't want to see that, people stop showing up to the games, you're hurting the bottom line, people are going to stop showing up, and that's going to get the attention of the owner, and then they're going to be like, okay, this guy's causing a problem, I want him off of my team. It's a business.
Yeah, because it's their money. That's the owner's money. Is coming directly from their pockets to these players. And now, granted, there's the unfair balance where the owners make way more money compared to what the players make. But at the same time, my whole thing is that regular, everyday folks, more likely people who are also listening to this podcast, me and you, we cannot protest out our job. We get fired. That's
exactly.
Our job. And I believe that as a business owner, as jobs, as a company, that's smart. We don't want you. We want you working when you're on the job. We're not paying you to kneel down somewhere or to protest against whatever you feel like. What if your workplace plays a national anthem before you start working? They don't have time to pay you, and they'll fire you right then and there. And they'll be even harder for you to get a job because guess what? You're too worried about protesting than doing your job. And people tend to forget these NFL football players, the stadium is their workplace. That's their workplace. So it's a special thing where it's kind of like, it's hard to define that as a workplace. But remember, once the game's over with, the checks are handed out right then and there. Oh, boop, you played the game. Here's your check. Go home. And It is what it is. And players act like, granted, yeah, the league will drop off in talent once if these high-class players leave, but they act like they won't be replaced. There's thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people that never got a chance in football that would more than happy sign up and stand for the flag to get paid. They won't.
Definitely, yeah. They
don't care what the owner's policies. And to be honest, if I was working, I don't care about what my boss thinks or cares. As long as you're paying me, I really don't care. As long as it ain't got nothing to do with me personally. As long as you're not personally coming at me. Now the thing is, these players do feel like the owners are coming at them personally, and that and some owners may not understand the football player struggle because you're on opposite ends of the spectrum. You, as an owner, you probably were born rich. You lived a different lifestyle. You're much older than these guys. And then you got these football players where some of them come from the ghetto, come from nothing. And all of a sudden you hand them millions of dollars and society expects them to act a certain way when they were never raised at all like that. And now they're put on a spotlight where their whole life the spotlight may be behind a police car was the only time they had a spotlight on them, or anything like that nature. So it's like it's hard for anybody to even meet in the middle because it's like you're so far away, and then both sides are too stubborn to even want to negotiate anything. So it's all around controversy, and I want to actually really get your take on this whole protest and all the anthem rule, because for our listeners who don't know, you're black, and then on top of that, you served in the Navy. And so as a person who served our armed forces and defended this country, how do you feel about the players taking it or even the rule itself?
Yeah, my take on it personally is that I understand where these players are coming from. They want to stand up for what they think will stand up by taking a knee.
Yeah.
Which is in turn gonna help them raise awareness for police brutality. And I get all of that. That's a very noble thing. It's a very noble cause. But all I'm saying is that I know they're not intending to disrespect service people, but it's extremely disrespectful to people who put their lives on the line, people whose family members have died, like what that flag is supposed to represent. And it's extremely disrespectful to a lot of people. So, you can sit there and, take a knee all you want and do all of that stuff, but just know that you're going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, especially military families. And that's the consequences that you're going to have to put up with. You're going to lose a lot of fans. You're going to lose a lot of money. So that's all I can say about it. It's a very sticky situation. Maybe instead of taking a knee, maybe actually, going out and doing something, maybe fundraisers, something else that can help,
raise awareness or help to the cause, as in help those who wrongfully accused. There are many wrongfully accused people in prisons that are stuck in the system because there's just a system in place and people can't beat the system.
Yeah.
There's a lot of poor people who can't afford the lawyers to help bail them out or to help have a voice for them, and that's a real troubling time that our prisons are filled with a lot of people and sometimes are wrongfully accused, but at the same time those wrongfully accused people don't have the financial needs to afford not only just a regular lawyer but a good one to help defend them and help their cause to come out and be a productive member in society. And the main problem is, to not get too political, sometimes we put all the people in the same boat, in the same group, that a certain race or a certain demographic all are the same people because, this certain people all rob, so that means all of them must be robbers. Or all these people are goody two-shoes, so they must be all goody two-shoes. And that's wrong because each and every one of us is very different. Even just because you're the same race as somebody, just because you believe in the same religion as somebody, doesn't mean you're the exact same, and you shouldn't be grouped into that group mentality. You shouldn't be able to be recognized, or put a label on as that's who you are, because that's not true. But those bad people also don't do any good for those other people. You're not helping the cause. Same with, I get that you want to raise awareness, but ultimately, what does awareness do? It's not like you don't know police brutality is bad. We're very aware that police brutality is bad, but how are you going to fix that? Oh, I don't know, I'm just here to raise awareness. That don't help nobody, that's nice and all that those people in the mall that talk about DARE, teens against drugs and whatnot. Oh, we're here to raise awareness. Who doesn't know drugs are bad? Like, maybe teens don't, and maybe when you were in 5th grade, when they would come around with a lion and tell you that, oh, drugs are bad, it's like, because we didn't know then. But as an adult, it's like, you know what you're getting yourself into at that point. And raising awareness doesn't do nothing for me. That doesn't help getting drugs off the streets. All I'm doing is paying for people to talk about saying that they're bad. I already know that. And it's the same with protesting. I know it's bad, but I want you to do something about it. I want you to help fix the problem. I don't want to be a part of a group that all we're doing is talking about it. Talk is cheap, actions speak louder than words. You can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? And that's all I really have to say about that and that touchy subject. And that's pretty as much political as we're ever going to get on this podcast. And that's something we cannot avoid in the football society. We cannot avoid about the anthem protest, because it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Absolutely.
More than ever. Now back to football news. Gronk is now close to a new deal with the Patriots. Said he was going to retire, which I kind of believe that he was just saying that in order for his agent to add a little bit more incentive there, and deservingly so. He's the best tight end in all of NFL. You can argue top 10 player in all of NFL when healthy.
Future Hall of Famer for sure.
Oh yeah, he's already the all-time, I think, scoringest tight end in NFL history. I mean, he's put up ridiculous stats that some wide receivers can't even touch sometimes at a tight end.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And one of the best
get that extra money.
And one of the best personalities too in all of NFL.
Oh yeah, Gronk's a fun-loving guy.
Yeah. 49ers Reuben Foster, domestic violence charges were dropped, and girlfriend came out and said that she lied about that.
Wow, that's pretty pathetic.
I mean, that's another touchy subject that, that there are people that are, once you make a little money, that they're trying to get every little penny out of you, and you owe them something out of nowhere. And good thing for the 49ers for that this happened, because one, he's a very talented player. He made a big impact as a rookie, and he slid down boards to the draft because of these off-the-field issues. And, it's one of those concerns that a lot of teams have when drafting a player. You don't know who they are once they make that kind of money. Once they have that spotlight on them, can they handle all these pressures? Are they, in a sense, trained well to talk to a media a certain way without releasing too much information? When you have 10 mics in front of your face after every game, and they're telling you what you did wrong, and are you able to accept that kind of pressure? And good for the 49ers. This is a great thing for them. And Reuben Foster may be a player we'll talk about in our top 10 linebacker list coming up.
There should be consequences for women who falsely accuse men of rape, domestic violence, and stuff like that. I'm just throwing my 2 cents out. I just feel like that's a despicable thing to do.
It really is, to be quite honest. And my thing about that is the fact that I think there is this sort of standard that, because ultimately what makes it a harsh deal is the fact that there are women who come out there and don't ever talk about it, and they're the ones who are getting abused and stuff like that. And then there's women who come out here and claim all this, like I believe Ezekiel Elliott. His girlfriend was found of lying, and on top of that, she was texting her girlfriends saying, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to tell, if you go on the stand, I want you to lie for me," in text messages. And people don't understand, there's some people that don't understand what you can do to a man that way.
You could destroy their life.
Because not only that, he's going to be in prison. Like, a regular man will be in prison for life on that. And that's just on base false accusations and stuff like that. And it is, and if they're found, you were found not guilty and you found the girlfriend for lying and stuff like that, it's kind of weird how they don't get punished at all, because it's like the boy who cried wolf. And then all you're doing is doing a disservice to those who were abused, because it's like, oh, how do we know women ain't lying? How do we know all women ain't liars? And that's true, not all women are liars. How do we know that you really were abused? Because now you're lying. So now it's like all you're doing is making the court systems harder for both men and women during that situation. And I think it is one of the tough times, especially nowadays with the Me Too movement, and then all these famous people now with all these rape allegations and rape charges. There are, it is both ways. There are guys that, scummy guys out there. I'm not saying that all guys ain't women beaters, but there are some evil people out there in this world that do those things. Yep. And the Seahawks recently signed Brandon Marshall to a 1-year, $2 million deal. That's about the range where Des Bryant is about probably going to get paid. If Brandon Marshall, an aging wide receiver who once was a very talented guy, is getting paid $2 million, Des Bryant's probably easily touching $5 million at that point, I think.
Yeah, we'll see if he accepts this. I feel like, I don't know why, I have a feeling that he's looking for more than that. But we'll see.
Because he felt like he was getting low paid as is with the Cowboys. He was making $12 million. And he wanted
overpaid.
And then he was asking to get paid more, and Jerry Jones was, I was kind of telling you about you need to take a pay cut. And other than that, Michael Kendricks, leading linebacker for the Eagles, had recently got cut.
That's crazy. Where he's gonna end up?
There was a lot of reports. San Francisco and Oakland were one of the teams headlining for his services there at linebacker. My thing is about that is I want to know why he got cut. There's not been a lot of reports. He's not been injured. He's been great since coming into the NFL. Now, granted, his younger brother kind of stole his shine there in Minnesota, but he's still a talented linebacker, and I want to know what was the reason. Was it production? Was it maybe we don't want to pay him big money? But we'll see what reports have later on.
That's a good question.
That wraps it up for headlines, guys. If you have any comments or anything, please leave them down below, and we'll be glad to read them and address them and reply to them, as well as like and subscribe the video, of course, for more content, to be notified when new content gets pulled up.